while ago, sir, from the warm reaction in Tokyo when the script of Larawan was submitted for MMFF, it was snubbed.
Yeah. You have to ask them why it was snubbed. I can answer that. Because the script is exactly what is in the film. So I don't know why they snubbed it.
And then during the second round, it was accepted.
Yeah, as a finished product.
As a finished product. Because you were also saying a while ago that the warm reception in Tokyo sort of reinvigorated you.
No, because we did not. Because a lot of people said it was too Filipino. You know, but then when that was being said, I said, okay, so it's very, very Filipino because you know. But then when the Japanese reacted that way, I said, like, then it's more than just being Filipino, you know, because if the Japanese could react to it, then there was something in it that was more than just, you know. And then again, when we saw it in San Francisco, then that was even more because there were a lot of non-Filipinos also in that Q&A. It's what interests me or what fascinates me is that the movie has gotten a lot of different reactions from different age groups. You know, and all things that I never expected to be so deep or to be piercing. You know, emotionally, people ask, and you're saying you're beginning to ask why is it? It seems to affect a lot of millennials, and I really don't know the answer.
Being in the theater industry and you've watched it twice, can you tell us what you think of Ang Larawan?
It's interesting because there are questions I wanted to ask. It started with a 3-act play in English, and it became a 2-act musical, and now the film. I was wondering, you know, what are the changes that you made to the film for it to become the film?
We just trimmed it.
Trimmed it. Okay.
Yeah. Because
you designed the story, or
no, because the libretto was 3 hours long.
Okay.
And we trimmed it to 2. And part of the way to do it was to have some of the much of the libretto, you know, was was being spoken as opposed to sung, you know. So it's really a combination of scenes with music, scenes, dialogue, you know, with no music, and arias or songs, you know. And so that's how the whole thing is constructed. There's really no like, you know, in other traditional musicals you have dialogue, what do you call this? And the song, dialogue, song.
So is it more a musical or an opera or a song? Or
I think it's a combination.
Okay.
You know, it's musical with, because the thing is that, like for example, the scene with the brother, you know, when the two, when Manolo and Peppa, the older brothers and sister, they're discussing about how to divide the house.
Furniture in the house.
The furniture. Because those are really big scenes. I mean, you know, that could have been, you know, it's not really an aria. No, it's very much, you know, it's the text in that scene is not what you would usually consider for, you know, musical. So that's I think what's fascinating about this, because we made a hybrid.
It's very accessible when you see it, because you think that it'd be too formal or it's going to be like opera, but it's quite accessible.
No, I think that's what I liked about the rehearsal process. I think the rehearsal process did that because it became a conversation. It was not about singing. It was about it was expressing an idea, you know. And especially the sequences with the brother and the sister. It's really about this is what I want. You cannot have it. And then everybody. It's an argument, you know. And it's not a philosophical argument. Or a moral,
before we continue with our discussion, aside from questions for our guest here, Director Arcenas, you can also post what you think about the movie and any opinions. You can post it on our comment section. Sir Lloyd, you have such a delightful cast, no? Nolibel Camino, Joanna Ampil, Rachel Alejandro. How was the experience working with the theater veterans such as?
No, I love working with all these actors, because they're very, very giving, and I like working with them because it's para sa ako, it's an exchange of ideas, It's not really a rehearsal per se. It's figuring out what the scene is about and how to make the scene work. And if you've already made the scene work, how to make it better. And then, if not, find other ways to make it even better or question the solutions you've come up with and see if you can come up with other stuff. And I think that's why, people are scared when people say that, I demand too much rehearsal. Because I don't really, it's not about memorizing. It's about you, the actor, figuring out ways to make your characters work. Number two, now that you made it work, how do you make it work better? Number three, now that you made it work better, how do you make the actors working with you work better so that your scenes become even better, So it's really an exchange of, ideas. So that to me is the rehearsal process.
Sir Lloyd, the headlines after the first 2 days of the MMF screening, the entries came out Christmas Day. And the second day, the headlines were, although graded A, ang Larawan pulled out of many theaters. Was that something you expected? And what did you say?
Well, I was not here, so I had no idea. No, but I mean, I think it was something we expected because the thing is that I think the movie needs to sort of find its audience, slowly. And I think that's what happened with, it's impossible to fill up 75 seats, 75 theaters, on the first day. They don't really know what the story's about, or they heard here it's about this, but it doesn't really, it's not a comedy. It's not the actors we use are not as
box office
hit, I think what's happening right now is that it's beginning to really find its true audience. And one thing I would like to say is that I think some people may like it, some people may not like it, but I think people keep saying that it's too high-minded, that it's too burguese. What else? I don't think so, because the problem, it's a very, very simple story, and it's you don't have to put politics into it, you don't have to put morality, it's just you react to how the characters appeal to you on screen, and that's what I've been trying to say, that once you have the actors really rehearse their roles, then they become the characters, then they play, they play the scenes. Then they make the scenes work, the actors. Now, it's not so much the actors now the characters make the scenes work. So,
yeah. For those who have yet to catch it, the last day is on the Sunday, January 7. So make sure to troop to cinemas to catch this gem.
So did you like it?
I did. I cried in 2 scenes, sir. I watched it last night.
I have some friends who saw it, who watch it several times, and they say that they keep discovering new things about it every time they watch it. And I guess that's the appeal of Larawan being a musical. That, there's a lot of quiet moments, and the repeated viewing makes it more interesting.
When do you think they come back?
Personally, I think that you watch it in one go. You don't get everything. You know, and then you see it again and you focus on one particular aspect of it, and oh, this is interesting. At least for me, that's how I reacted to it. Would I watch it again? I probably would if I saw it with
Another
group, because then the discussion after would make it very interesting. Yeah. Have you seen it in a large theater in the Philippines?
Wala. No, the only time I saw it was during the press con. But I was all by myself, you know.
Okay.
I was surprised when we finished the press con, you know, people came to me and said, like, you know, and I could see that they seemed to be very happy with it. So that was nice.
It was really Joanna Ampil's scenes who stirred emotions.
Why was that?
The two first. When she was breaking down, when she was confessing to the mga neighbors na she pushed her sister, that scene. And the second one, her scene with the senator, Robert Alvarado. And my favorite also was Noni Buencamino, the way his facial expression changes.
So is it because of the performance? Or is it because of the scene? Or did the scene mean something to you because it was something philosophical or something? Or it was just because it was a scene that came out of... That's what I'm trying to figure out now. Why people are reacting. Because I myself don't really know why they react that way now. I mean, very happy that, you know, they reacted. But when as I had mentioned before, when I did it, I wanted to just make sure that the characters came alive and that their stories made sense. And if I did that, then the Nick Joaquin story would come alive, and then that the Rolando Tino works would really, you know, live in the minds. And it seems to do that because people now are quoting lines from the movie. So this is one of
Contra Mundum, Defy the World.
I think people find a way to relate with it, I think.
Is it because of the character or is it the situation?
With the character, with the situation, with particular lines, and then you relate with the character, then it becomes, you're more involved with it, I guess.
Well, why were you interested in the senator scene with Candida?
Because I don't fault the senator for choosing, you know, a life of comfort, but I'm also sympathetic to Candida. Again, like he said a while ago, you can't really find a villain. I'm sympathetic to both. Because as a man who has a family to raise, I understand the senator's point. For Candida's part, parang they want to preserve this genteel past, you know, poet. And that was also, the performance was there. It was a nice exchange.
No, what I really wanted to do was that if I could just get the actors to perform the character, be the characters and really defend the positions of the characters, I thought that was you know, we had our work done. Because as I mentioned before, you know, when I accepted the project, one thing I really wanted to make sure was that I can commit a lot of other mistakes, but one thing that had to be I was going to be very, very sure about was that the performances would be the film would be a record of the performances of the actors of 2015. This group of actors came together, we rehearsed together, and this is the product of our work, you know. This is our interpretation of Larawan, or the Nick Joaquin piece, you know. The Nick Joaquin Rolando Tino. And my hope was that 50 years from now, 60 years, 70 years from now, when they look into it, they can say that, you know, we had a very, very good group of actors who came up with all of this performance of the Tino version of Larawan, the Tino Actually, it's the Tino Kaya version of Larawan, because much of it is also the music of Ryan. And it's very difficult because when I do a lot of rehearsals, I realize that a lot of singers do not know what they're singing about. They have absolutely no idea what they're singing.
Are you talking about your experience in Broadway or shooting ang Larawan?
No, I'm talking about the experience of Filipino singers. They don't. No, I don't think it's only Filipinos. It's even in the States. They It's not that they don't know. They don't seem to understand what they're singing about. So I usually ask them not to sing first and to really look into the lines. And when I feel like they're very comfortable with, they know exactly what the lines are saying, I think that's part of the problem. They don't know what the lines are saying. Or they think they know, but it's, they don't understand what they're saying. And so, of course, murag hilaw ba mo gawas. So,
So a big part of rehearsals was spent letting them understand what they were saying about.
It's not so much letting them understand, making them figure out what they're saying, talking about. Because your interpretation could be different from his. But then if it's your interpretation, the other actors will have to take your interpretation, Because that's what they cannot superimpose somebody else's interpretation of you, because they would have to really relate to how you say it, Otherwise, it's wrong, It comes out as fake because one is saying you're talking about this, and then I'm talking about this, and so we never have we don't connect it. And I think that's what the problem is, most of the time. Unfortunately, when I listen to Filipino singers, many of them don't really know what they're singing about. Tell me if I'm not correct.
Are you talking about the younger ones or even the older ones?
Many people. I'm sorry to say that, but I think it is. Many know how to sing, but there are a number of people who don't really. They have beautiful, beautiful voices, but they have absolutely no clue what they're singing about. You agree with that, Henry?
It's also the language, I think, sometimes. Because we're in Cebu when we sing either Tagalog or English songs.
No, and then the other thing also is that it is an English song by an American writer or by an American lyricist, and then you put Filipino, into it. That's already three layers, So you have to know exactly what you're singing about. Otherwise, I can be very, very harsh, but I think part of the problem is that, sometimes you as Filipino interpret the song as a Filipino would interpret a Broadway song, but in fact the song is asking for something else.
How does a Filipino usually interpret a Broadway song?
No. What I'm saying is I'm not saying that, but sometimes people don't understand. No, people don't understand what they're singing about. They sing beautifully, but it's the same way. You can ask that of American singers also. They have no idea what the song is.
It's just easy for you to hinge on a recording, especially with technology right now. You just repeat and repeat, or you sing along to it versus
really understanding what the song is about,
coming up with your own interpretation.
Because you don't have to sound like Mariah Carey to make the song work. that's her interpretation, you know, or maybe Mariah Carey is the wrong person to talk about. But I mean, you know, like, you look at the songs of Frank Sinatra, you know, there are certain songs that are, you know, they can live so many ways. Okay? They have a long life because different singers can make it work in different ways. But what do some people do? They will do the Frank Sinatra version. So it's my version, my imitation of Frank Sinatra, but I'm not Frank Sinatra. So right then and there, I already failed. You have to come up with your own interpretation, I think.
So now you have a question here. They'd like to know how the actors were chosen. If there was a cast member here that was your personal choice.
Some because I came late into the process. Some were already assigned, and some we chose. So it's a combination. Paolo and Sandino were chosen through auditions because there were other actors who were considered at that time, but then those did not work out, and so.
Were there a lot of mainstream actors who auditioned for Paolo's part?
A few.
What was it about Paolo?
Well, Paolo really, I could see that Paolo really wanted to do it, you know. And he was eager, and he seemed to, you know, understand the process of where we wanted to take it, you know, so we went for him.
And I read he was so eager to take the part that he accepted a painting as a talent fee.
I don't know. That's part of the myth.
So I'm sure Larawan's journey will not end with MMFF. So where are we taking this next?
Well, it's supposed to go to the States, right? You know, it opens next week in the States. So.
And there's going to be, I think, school tours around the country in January, February. So
is Cebu part of the school tour?
Yes.
Can we arrange that?
I think Cebu is. I think January. So if there are like schools who are interested to book screenings of Larawan, there's the Facebook page, Larawan the movie, and you can contact them.
So that would be really the ideal, you know, if the movie can wake up, you know, the young minds, you know, because it seems to have already awakened your generation. So,
because as you said a while ago, this was really meant for school tours, right? Not for MMFF.
For school audiences, you're saying?
No, I mean, we were going to have a general release of some sort, but it was not going to be with the MMFF. It was only this year that it was finally decided that it was going to be joined into the MMFF.
Will you be going to the United States along with the screening? Will you be bringing your stars along?
I have no idea. I'm not the producer.
You are trying to catch the movie tonight at Ayala, so if you have
if you want to rub elbows with
take a
the
selfie
director.
with Lloyd, go to Ayala tonight.
And he will be Lloyd Arcenas.
Sir, what made you decide to include the movie in the MMFF?
Because last year, last year they had all independent films to do the MMFF. We thought that this year was going to be the same. But then, when we had already decided that it was going to join the, when we decided that it was going to join already, which was the submission of the screenplay, and we realized that it was not going to be what it was like last year. It was too late to back out. But then, you know, the idea that the festival would happen when everything, one of the prerequisites of the festival, or rather what was interesting with the festival was that there were no Hollywood films being shown within that time frame. So we figured that, you know, Larawan might have a bigger chance of surviving that way, as opposed to it competes with everybody else. You know.
What is your take on more commercial films joining the MMFF this year?
Well, people want to make money, unfortunately, so that's what they get. My hope is that, but I understand that because of what has happened, you know, last year, at least the films that came out this year are much better than from 2 years ago. I don't know if that's the case. Because now, you know, I just came back, so I haven't seen any of the films yet. So, but I hear it's much better than.
Do you plan to catch any of the other entries?
Yeah.
Like.
I think I'll start with Short also, and then I will try to see all of them. And the one with Derek and Jenny. You know. I'd like to see all. You know, I always try to see, not as a competition, but I just want to see how Filipino films. I mean, it's. I want to see how the world thinks, or the Filipinos think.
What was the last Filipino film you saw there that you really liked?
Huh? Balaniga.
Balaniga.
Ginawa ni Kevin De La Cruz, which was 2 months ago.
Unfortunately, it was not shown in Cebu
Yeah.
theaters. Okay. After Larawan, the next movie you're working on, can you reveal it?
Yeah, it's-
starring Sherry Hill.
Yeah, it's Mirador.
Can you talk briefly about what it is about?
It's about a woman a widow who gets obsessed with the possible illegitimate son of her dead husband.
Is production done or is it
It's
shooting?
halfway through.
Okay.
Very interested because it's completely different from Larawan. It's very, very dark. It's very, very funny.
Aside from Sherry Hill, who are isa pa bang actors na nasa?
Actually, they're not. Si Sue Prado, they're not very well known. Sue Prado, Erlinda Villalobos, and there's new si Ross Pesigan and Miguel Faustman.
Sir, why do you like watching your movie again here with this Cebu audience?
No, it's not like.
You like to eavesdrop on what they're saying?
No, necessarily. I've not seen the audience react, so I just want to see that. You know? And I wanted to see how Cebuanos reacted.
After it won Best Picture, as far as you know, how is it doing now in Manila and in other provinces?
It's doing very, very well in Manila. I mean, the Facebook page of ang Larawan is quite wild.
Wild is the term.
I mean, everybody has an opinion about what it is to them, that's why I wanted to ask you what do you think? Why are people reacting so strongly to it, both positively and negatively?
And they're more positive than when
Speaking
they're
of
No,
which,
no,
do
no,
you
no.
mind negative
Yeah, no.
feedback?
I'm a very I'm imperfect. Am I perfect? No. So I should be able to take. No. I'm not saying that it's better than the others. And what fascinates me, the reason why I'm asking the question is because why are people? I mean, people have said it's an imperfect film. If it's an imperfect film, why are they still very interested in it? What is in its imperfection that makes people want to,
So for starters, even if it's imperfect, it's still a cut above the rest of what we're usually offered here.
So maybe is that what it is? So what about all of these mga things about being Filipino, being art versus commerce? Why do you think that? So it's just because it's a cut above the rest?
Well, that's just me.
makes you think, I think.
Makes you think when?
It makes you think about your own life, how you're able to relate to it.
Same way with you?
That line I told you a while ago, but I'm not going to say.
No, say it. No, you imprisoned me in this room. No, you better come up with your answer. Sige,
Imprisoned.
what was the line?
No, there was a line in one of the songs that Joanna Ampel that resonated with me.
What was that?
That was that. That subtitle said, "In order to, you have to die to save your life." Something like that. And other relatable lines.
You're a pessimist.
That's the thing also, I think the subtitles work for a lot of people, especially in the provinces with foreign audiences.
And you know, we worked hard on those subtitles. It's a committee of 8 that sat through all of those.
Sir Lloyd, Direct Lloyd, as a parting shot, is there anyone you'd like to thank for supporting you in this endeavor?
The city of Cebu.
Invite them not to watch your film.
Oh yeah. When was it watch Larawan.
How about you, Henry? Why don't you encourage
It's showing
viewers to
in.
catch it until Sunday?
Yeah, it's showing in Robinson's Galleria, SMC side, and Ayala. And you're watching it in Ayala tonight, yes?
Yeah.
Last whole show.
I don't know, I think the one before Cebu.
Alright.
Anyway.
Thank you so much for sitting down with us. We're Arcenas. Henry Go. Alright, this is the Freeman Conversations. Once again, I'm Vanessa Balbuena. Thank you so much for joining us.